This new and exciting trail running shoe from the North Face. Oh, helps if I have the shoe in my hand. The North Face Infinite Vectiv. Oh, you Welcome guys, it's great to have you back. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend and you've managed to get out and have some fun and enjoyable running miles. If you're new to the channel and you're liking what you see, or if you've been watching our running related content for some time now but you haven't subscribed to the channel, why not hit that subscribe button, come along and join the Run4Adventure family. It's a great way of supporting the channel. It only takes a second and it is completely free. Don't forget to hit that bell icon as well so you'll be notified when we upload any new content. In today's review we are taking a look at a trail running shoe from a brand that I've always been a bit disappointed with in the past when it comes to their running shoes. But this shoe and this range of shoes is hopefully going to change all of that. These shoes have been really hyped, but they've also been developed using some of the best trail ultra runners in the world, including 2019 UTMB winner Pau Capell, American ultra running animal Zach Miller, but also Dylan Bowman. So some great runners have been involved in the development of this shoe. So in today's review, we are taking a look at the all new, the North Face Vectiv Infinite. This shoe sits in the middle of that new Vectiv trail running shoe range from the North Face. The most hyped and most expensive shoe in the range is the Vectiv Flight Series shoe, which is carbon plated. Now there's a few reasons I didn't go for that carbon plated option. Number one being, I'm not convinced that we need a carbon plate in our trail running shoes, especially in technical areas. Number two, the price was very different. So that Flight Series shoe retails at £180, which is a lot of money for a trail running shoe. And last but not least, that top of the range shoe comes in a pretty much all white colorway. So I thought this model, having lots of black fabric on that upper, was a bit more of a sensible option when it comes to wet, muddy British trail running conditions. Right, so let's get stuck into this review and give you a few facts and figures on this exciting new trail running shoe from the North Face. The shoe retails for £145 in the UK. It weighs in at 301 grams in a men's shoe and 270 grams in a women's. It runs off a 6mm heel offset. The outsole is clad in surface CTRL rubber compound with a 3.5mm lug pattern. Colorways, it's available in one colorway, this colorway, and when it comes down to the fit of the shoe, I've found it true to size with average width in the toe box. When it comes down to the construction of the upper, the North Face have used a full matrix upper on this shoe. So that consists of a fabric that has Kevlar yarns woven into it for increased protection and support. It comes with a 3D molded heel counter for excellent foothold and heel fit. The tongue of the shoe carries only a slight level of padding, so it's quite thin in design, but it is gusseted in the shoe to give you that nice specific midfoot lockdown, and you've got some small perforations in that tongue for comfort and breathability. Working our way down to the midsole of the shoe, it runs off a dual density Vectiv midsole with a rocker design that helps roll you uphill, supports you downhill, and provides a constant forward motion. You can see here this orange line on top of that midsole. The shoe is plated, but it's not a carbon plate. This is a Pebax based plate for extra stability and protection underfoot. Pebax is a high elastic plastic material that offers high levels of energy return. Working our way down to probably one of the most important parts of our trail running shoes, and the outsole on the Vectiv Infinite is clad using the North Face surface CTRL rubber compound. It carries a 3.5mm multi-directional lug pattern to offer high levels of traction on all off-road surfaces. Right, that is a quick breakdown of this new trail running shoe from the North Face, but we put a good 30 miles miles in the shoe on a big mixture of different terrains. So let's run you through some of the standout features for us, but also maybe highlight some of the things we feel could be slightly improved with the new Vectiv Infinite. So definitely the first standout feature for me with this shoe was that out-the-box comfort. This felt so good on my foot the first time I put it on. It got me all excited about the shoe. I've always found the North Face trail running shoes a little bit heavy, a little bit stiff, a little bit clunky to run in, and they always come across as being a sort of modified trekking shoe rather than a run-specific shoe. That is definitely not the case with this shoe. You can definitely tell it's been developed by some good runners, and it was so comfortable the first time I put it on my foot. Actually felt like I'd been in the shoe for 2 or 3 months and already bedded it in. My foot felt really well held in the upper with a nice precise fit in the back end of the shoe around my heel. Had really good lockdown, that nice precise fit around the midfoot from the gusseted tongue in the shoe. I was a bit worried about the thinness of that tongue to start with, because I have had issues with tongues like that in the past with the laces and pressure on top of my foot. But the padding that the North Face have put in that tongue is in all the right areas, so it actually felt really comfortable and I shouldn't have been worried. The matrix upper on the shoe has felt super lightweight, really comfortable, very breathable, but it also looks really solid in construction. This matrix fabric feels very hard wearing and super durable. You also get a really good level of protection in the shoe from this nice rubberized toe bumper wrapped around the shoe, a feature that I tend to look for in my trail running shoes. The dual density Vectiv midsole compound felt very comfortable straight away, even out on that first run. It gives and offers that nice balance between a cushioned, comfortable ride, but you still feel very dialed in and connected to the trails under you. That rocker in the midsole, I think the designers have got it spot on. It is a great feeling rocker and probably one of the best running shoe rockers that I've ever run on. Dare I say it's up there with the awesome Saucony Endorphin Speed. It's that good. The North Face definitely seem to have got the physics right when it comes to the rocker in this midsole. It feels very efficient and it does make running feel quite easy. I always felt like I wanted to up the pace in the shoe, and that rocker was trying to get me to run quicker and faster, especially in hills. This shoe loves running up hills. Now, every time I hit a hill, I just wanted to run it harder and quicker. I don't know whether it was the feel of the shoe or the design of the shoe, but it really does enjoy running in hilly environments. Over the 30 miles we've run the shoe, we've run it on a big mix of terrain. So from muddy trails, but we'll come back to that in a minute, to compacted trails, wet rocky trails, sandy towns, and even a fair bit of tarmac. And the shoe has handled most of that extremely well. This shoe running on the road, it runs so well on the road for a trail shoe, and maybe a little bit too well for a trail shoe. I could happily use this as my everyday road running shoe and enjoy every step. As far as the P-back plate worked into the midsole, I can't really say I noticed it a lot. The shoe did feel very stable and very connected in technical trail areas, and I also think that plate gave you a good level of protection from sort of sharp rocks that you ran over, so sort of working like a rock plate in the shoe. But when it comes down to propulsion, I can't say I really noticed it a lot, if I'm honest. The outsole rubber used on this shoe feels like a very sticky compound, and it worked really well in rocky and wet rocky environments. I felt very dialed in, very connected, super confident on foot strike, and I never doubted the level of grip once. Then when I had to hit that wet tarmac for a mile to get me home, again, the shoe offered really good traction in that road environment too. So I've really enjoyed my running experience so far in this shoe. Having run in the North Face trail running shoes in the past and been quite disappointed, I wasn't expecting a lot from it. Also, whenever running shoes are super hyped, I always get very skeptical, but the Vectiv Infinite definitely lives up to that hype. I'm quite excited about this shoe and I'm really looking forward to running more miles in it. Now, there's been a lot of superlatives in this review so far, and I think the Vectiv Infinite really does deserve them. But there has been one thing that has really let this shoe down, especially if you run on the trails in the UK at winter, and it's the level of traction and grip you get from this outsole in muddy conditions. Now, I know this shoe was developed and designed in a sort of alpine mountainous terrain, but it does say on the North Face's website that the lug pattern and lug depth and the rubber on this outsole are designed to offer great levels of traction on all surfaces, and that unfortunately just isn't the case. The depth of this lug just can't handle mud that well, and I had a couple of very slippy situations on a few of the runs I did in the shoe. I would class this shoe as a sort of spring, summer, autumn trail running shoe once the trails have dried out a bit. But that is the only negative I have when it comes to the Vectiv Infinite. But we've reached that time in the review when we need to get some points on the board, so let's get scoring this new trail running shoe from the North Face. The first thing always to score at Run4Adventure is price, and with the world of running shoes going a bit crazy at the moment and prices going up and up and up, you could easily think, oh, £145 is a pretty fair price for this shoe. I personally don't think it is. Yes, it's not the crazy £180 price point for the Vectiv Flight series, but it's still a lot of money to pay for a trail running shoe. I'd have been a lot happier to see the shoe price point at about 120, 125. I think that would have been a fair price. So for that reason, the Vectiv Infinite is going to score a 6 out of 10 for price. Next up is comfort and performance, and I found the Vectiv Infinite to be a super comfy shoe straight out the box. I've had no issues with any part of this shoe. The upper is really well put together, super breathable, very comfortable. You've got that really good lockdown in the heel, and you feel very dialed into the midfoot due to that gusseted tongue. The first 4-mile run I did in the shoe, I really did feel like I could have run in it all night. When it comes down to the weight at 301 grams, it's not the lightest shoe in the world, but it runs a lot lighter than that. When you've got it on, the shoe feels super light and very nimble, so it's a really well balanced running shoe. The shoe really has performed well in 95% of the terrain that I've run it in. The rocket in that midsole is brilliant. You feel very fast, very nimble, but also very efficient in your running. I know I've had a few slip issues when it comes to the lug depth on this outsole in muddy conditions, but I'll definitely be using this shoe on the drier trails where it has performed so well. So because the shoe has excelled in every other area apart from mud, it's going to have to score high at Run4Adventure. I can definitely see myself getting lots of miles in the summer in this shoe, longer races, longer training runs. So for comfort and performance, the shoe is going to score a surprising 9 out of 10. Last up is durability, and this should be a shoe that really holds up well to mileage. Having them Kevlar yarns worked into that matrix upper, it looks and feels super hard wearing. The rest of the shoe looks really well put together, so the midsole construction great, the outsole looks to be holding up really good to their miles so far. So when it comes down to durability for the Vectiv Infinite, it's going to score a solid 9 out of 10. So tallying all those points up for the shoe, the Vectiv Infinite scores a very surprising 24 out of 30. So that is the performance score done. Now we've got to talk about looks of this new trail running shoe. A super subjective, very personal topic, but I actually quite like the look of this shoe. I think within the range of the 3 shoes, this is probably the strongest looking when it comes down to colorway. I also think it's the most practical colorway. With the other 2 shoes being predominantly white, I don't think they would have held up particularly well in a British winter when it comes to our muddy, wet conditions. So when it comes to looks for the Vectiv Infinite at Run4Adventure, we're going to give it a big thumbs up. Moving on to the comparison part of this review, where we compare this shoe against other running shoes in the marketplace. And it's been quite tricky with this shoe. There's not a lot of plated trail running shoes on the market at the moment. Obviously it compares very similar to the other 2 shoes within the Vectiv range, but while I was out running in it, it did feel a bit like a Hoka Speedgoat 3 to run in. Obviously the Hoka is a lot softer and squishier underfoot, and you do feel a lot more connected in the North Face shoe. But that rocking motion as you run in, they feel very similar underfoot. And you feel like both shoes could work really well in that sort of long distance environment. And that's about it when it comes to comparison. So not a great comparison section, but we've talked about the features, we've broken down the construction, and we've scored the shoe. So let's wrap this up with a quick conclusion. Now, I know I was pretty negative about the level of grip I got from this outsole in muddy conditions, but the shoe really has performed mightily well on everything else. The North Face have definitely upped their game this year, and you can really see that this shoe has had a lot of input from some great trail runners when it comes down to development. I can see myself racing in this shoe a lot in the summer months once the trails have dried out, and I can't wait to take this shoe out on a longer run because it feels so efficient and easy to run in. I think it'll sort of handle that ultra distance really well. So if you're in the market for a trail running shoe for them spring, summer, autumn months, or you've got some ultra distance races planned in the mountains or on dry rocky trail, I really have been surprised with the performance of the Vectiv Infinite, and it is definitely worth checking out. What I'll also say is there is a slightly cheaper shoe within the Vectiv range. It is slightly heavier in construction, but it carries across a lot of the features from this shoe. It retails for £120. It is the Vectiv Endurus, so it might be worth checking that out as well. So that is a wrap on another review at Run4Adventure. Really hope you enjoyed it, guys. Hope you found it helpful as well. If you did, give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We have left links in the description for this shoe and for the whole Vectiv range if you want to find out any more information. And also get involved, guys. Are you running in any of the shoes from this Vectiv range? How are you finding them? Are you super impressed with performance and how easy and how efficient they feel to run in? Let us know in the comments below. We are super busy at the channel and we've got new and exciting running shoes arriving every day so that we can keep to our promise of bringing you guys, our awesome supporters, as many shoe reviews as we possibly can this year. I've just had a pair of Saucony Peregrine 11s turn up. Really excited to get out and give them a run. If you're a fan of the channel, if you've followed the channel for some time, you'll know I really enjoyed running in the Peregrine 10. So fingers crossed that the changes they made haven't spoiled a great trail running shoe. Don't forget you can follow us on our other social media platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook or Strava. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. It's really appreciated. We will see you on the channel very soon. But as always, stay safe and keep on running.